The late medieval period was a time of profound intellectual awakening. After centuries of relative dormancy, the rediscovery of ancient texts ignited a spark of curiosity that would reshape the European mind. Universities, once centers of religious dogma, slowly transformed into hubs of philosophical and scientific inquiry. The rediscovery of Greek and Roman works wasn't merely an academic exercise. It fostered a spirit of humanism, a focus on human potential and earthly achievement rather than solely on divine matters. Individuals like the young Johannes Valentinus Andreae, wrestling with ancient wisdom, would find themselves drawn to ideas that challenged the established order. Alchemy, often dismissed as mere attempts to transmute base metals into gold, was undergoing a transformation. It was evolving into a proto-science, a quest to understand the fundamental principles of nature. Alchemists sought not just material wealth, but also spiritual enlightenment, believing the secrets of the universe were encoded in the very substances they manipulated. Figures like Tobias Hess approached alchemy with a critical eye, seeking to separate genuine knowledge from superstition. They saw in it a key to unlocking the hidden forces of the cosmos, a way to harmonize the material and spiritual realms. This pursuit often blurred the lines between science, philosophy, and religion. The Kabbalah, a mystical tradition within Judaism, experienced a resurgence during this period. Its complex symbolism and esoteric interpretations of Scripture offered a profound alternative to mainstream religious dogma. It provided a framework for understanding the divine through the lens of symbolism and personal experience. Even physicians like Simon Studian, steeped in practical knowledge, were drawn to the esoteric. Astrology, deeply intertwined with medicine at the time, offered insights into the human body and its relationship to the cosmos. The stars were seen as influencing not only health but also destiny. This climate of intellectual and spiritual seeking fostered an atmosphere of secrecy and intrigue. Individuals who dared to challenge established norms often did so in the shadows, sharing forbidden knowledge and forming clandestine societies. The pursuit of esoteric wisdom was not without its risks. The Black Death, a series of devastating plagues that swept through Europe, left an indelible mark on society. It shook the foundations of faith and order, prompting people to question the nature of God, the meaning of life, and the inevitability of death. The world was irrevocably changed. The plague sparked waves of religious extremism and apocalyptic fervor. Some saw it as divine punishment for humanity's sins, while others questioned God's existence altogether. The social fabric was stretched to its breaking point, creating fertile ground for new ideas and movements. The Church, feeling threatened by these currents of change, responded with repression. The Inquisition intensified its efforts to root out heresy, and books deemed dangerous were burned in public squares. Knowledge itself became a battleground. It was within this tumultuous environment that the seeds of the Rosicrucian movement began to sprout. A confluence of factors, the rediscovery of ancient wisdom, the rise of humanism, the allure of alchemy and Kabbalah, and the trauma of the Black Death, created a fertile ground for new forms of spiritual and intellectual expression. Men like Johannes Valentinus Andreae were poised to navigate this complex landscape, seeking a path towards enlightenment and reform. Across Europe, from the German principalities to the Bohemian court and the halls of Oxford, a network of thinkers was emerging. They sought a synthesis of ancient wisdom, scientific inquiry, and spiritual insight. This network, largely unseen, would soon give rise to a phenomenon that would capture the imagination of Europe, the Rosicrucian Brotherhood. The enigma of Christian Rosicrucians lies at the heart of the Rosicrucian narrative. Was he a historical figure, a symbolic representation, or a carefully constructed myth? The answer, perhaps, lies somewhere in between, interwoven with the intellectual currents of the age. The Chimical Wedding, published in 1616 and attributed to Andrew, is the most elaborate and allegorical of the Rosicrucian texts. It recounts the 7-day journey of Christian Rosicrucians to a mysterious castle, a journey fraught with trials and symbolic encounters. Andrew, though later suggesting the Chimical Wedding was a ludibrium, a playful exercise, undeniably contributed to its creation. His involvement, direct or indirect, cemented the story's place within the Rosicrucian narrative. The Chimical Wedding is saturated with alchemical symbolism. The quest for the philosopher's stone, the transmutation of metals, and the purification of the soul are all represented through allegorical characters and events within the narrative. Figures like Simon Studian, with their deep interest in medicine and natural philosophy, would have recognized and appreciated the alchemical underpinnings of the Rosicrucian texts. The promise of transmutation resonated with the era's belief in the potential for transforming both matter and the human spirit. The life and work of Paracelsus, the 16th century Swiss physician and alchemist, stands as a possible inspiration for Christian Rosicrucians. Paracelsus's emphasis on observation, experimentation, and the interconnectedness of the macrocosm and microcosm mirrors the Rosicrucian ideals. The parallels between Paracelsus's travels in search of hidden knowledge and Christian Rosicrucians' journey to Damcar and the Fama Fraternitatis cannot be ignored. Both figures embark on transformative quests, returning with wisdom and insight. Older legends of wandering scholars and seekers of esoteric wisdom likely contributed to the formation of the Christian Rosicrucian myth. Tales of individuals who traveled to distant lands in search of secret knowledge were common throughout the medieval period. The figure of Christian Rosicrucians also bears resemblance to the legendary figures of the past, such as Hermes Trismegistus, further solidifying the idea that he could have been named with the express intention to symbolically allude to this older figure. The Rosicrucian manifestos spread rapidly across Europe, sparking intense debate and speculation. Whether Christian Rosicrucians was a real person or a symbolic figure, the ideas associated with his name resonated deeply with many. The ambiguity surrounding Christian Rosicrucians' existence fueled both fascination and skepticism. Some saw him as a genuine historical figure, the founder of a secret society dedicated to spiritual and intellectual enlightenment. Others dismissed him as a figment of the imagination, a convenient symbol for a set of radical ideas. Regardless of his historical authenticity, Christian Rosicrucians became a powerful symbol of the Rosicrucian movement. He represented the pursuit of esoteric knowledge, the synthesis of science and spirituality, and the promise of a universal reformation. The myth, regardless of its basis, had taken on a life of its own, shaping the course of Western esoteric thought for centuries to come. The year is 1614. The Fama Fraternitatis asterisk, a manifesto unlike any other, begins to circulate through the intellectual circles of Europe. Its call for a universal reformation resonates deeply, particularly within the minds of those who see the decay and corruption plaguing both church and state. Johannes Valentinus Andrew, a young theologian, is one such soul, captivated by the promise held within its cryptic pages. Tobias Hess, a scholar known for his rigorous intellect and skeptical nature, approaches the asterisk Fama with a cautious eye. While intrigued by its alchemical illusions and promises of hidden knowledge, he remains wary of its grandiose claims and anonymous authorship. Is this a genuine call to enlightenment, or merely another fanciful tale designed to mislead the unwary? The Fama sparks animated discussions in academic circles. Andri finds himself at the center of these debates, passionately arguing for the potential of the Rosicrucian ideals to revitalize learning and bring about a new era of spiritual understanding. He sees in the manifesto a blueprint for a society founded on wisdom, knowledge, and the pursuit of divine truth. Hess, ever the meticulous scholar, undertakes a detailed analysis of the Fama's asterisk text. He searches for internal clues, inconsistencies, and hidden meanings, seeking to unravel the true purpose and intent behind the manifesto's publication. His skepticism remains, but his intellectual curiosity is undeniably piqued. Older and wiser, Simon Studian reads the asterisk Fama Fraternitatis with a different perspective than his younger contemporaries. He sees in it echoes of ancient wisdom and a continuation of the Hermetic tradition, perhaps even a coded message for those who know how to interpret it correctly. Andri integrates the Rosicrucian call for reformation into his sermons, urging his congregation to embrace knowledge, virtue, and a deeper connection with God. He believes that the Rosicrucian ideals can serve as a catalyst for positive change within his community and beyond. Hess engages in vigorous debates with those who embrace the asterisk Fama without reservation. He challenges them to provide concrete evidence to support its claims and warns against the dangers of blind faith and unfounded speculation. His skepticism serves as a counterweight to the enthusiasm of others, fostering a more critical and nuanced understanding of the Rosicrucian phenomenon. Studian, through his extensive network of contacts, disseminates his interpretations of the Fama and seeks to connect the Rosicrucian movement with the broader currents of esoteric thought. He sees in the manifesto a potential to unite scholars and seekers from different traditions in a common pursuit of hidden knowledge. As the initial excitement surrounding the Fama begins to wane, Andri grows restless. He longs to see the Rosicrucian ideals translated into concrete action, to create a tangible manifestation of the universal reformation called for in the manifesto. Hess remains skeptical of the Fama's asterisk utopian vision, warning against the dangers of excessive idealism and the potential for disillusionment. He argues that true reform must begin with individual transformation and a commitment to reason and critical inquiry. Studian, with the wisdom of his years, recognizes the challenges inherent in uniting individuals from diverse backgrounds and perspectives under a single banner of reformation. He understands that the Fama is merely a starting point, a catalyst for a much larger and more complex process of transformation. Despite the challenges and uncertainties that lie ahead, Andri remains hopeful. He believes that the asterisk Fama Fraternitatis asterisk, with its call for universal reformation, has planted a seed that will eventually blossom into a new era of enlightenment and spiritual awakening. The asterisk Confessio Fraternitatis, emerging on the heels of the Fama asterisk, served as both a clarification and a defense. It was an attempt to steer the burgeoning Rosicrucian discourse away from misinterpretations and towards the core principles of the fraternity. The Confessio asterisk directly addressed the criticisms leveled against the asterisk Fama asterisk. Where the asterisk Fama had been a clarion call, the Confessio was a reasoned argument, seeking to disarm those who saw the Rosicrucians as heretics or revolutionaries. The call for a general reformation of the whole wide world, as proclaimed in the Fama asterisk, was reiterated in the Confessio asterisk. This was not merely a call for societal change, but a deep, personal transformation rooted in Christian principles and the pursuit of divine knowledge. The Confessio asterisk subtly introduced the concept of the Book of Nature, a notion that resonated deeply with alchemists and natural philosophers. It suggested that the secrets of the universe were encoded within the natural world, waiting to be deciphered through observation and experimentation. The Confessio asterisk's stance on the papacy remained deliberately vague. While it criticized the corruption within the Church, it stopped short of advocating outright rebellion, a cautious approach meant to avoid immediate condemnation. Central to the Confessio was the idea of a universal reformation, a sweeping change that would touch every aspect of human life, from religion and politics to science and art. This vision captivated many, but also sparked fear and resistance. The Confessio asterisk, despite its efforts to clarify, failed to silence the critics. Accusations of heresy, sedition, and even demonic pacts continued to circulate, fueled by paranoia and misunderstanding. Debates raged across Europe. Was the asterisk Confessio asterisk a genuine expression of spiritual aspiration, or a cleverly disguised attempt to undermine established authority? The answer, it seemed, depended entirely on the eye of the beholder. For some, the Confessio offered a framework for integrating spiritual and scientific pursuits. The Rosicrucian ideals resonated with those who sought a holistic understanding of the universe, one that encompassed both the material and the divine. The Confessio emphasized the importance of inner transformation and direct experience of the divine, concepts that challenged the rigid dogma of the established church and appealed to those seeking a more personal and meaningful faith. The vision of a reformed world where science, art, and religion were united in harmony continued to inspire. The Confessio painted a picture of a utopian future, a beacon of hope in a world plagued by conflict and division. The asterisk Confessio Fraternitatis asterisk, a document intended to clarify and defend, ultimately served to deepen the mystery surrounding the Rosicrucians. It raised more questions than it answered, fueling the debate and ensuring that the Rosicrucian enigma would continue to captivate the imagination of Europe for generations to come. Johannes Valentinus Andri, a name inextricably linked with the Rosicrucian phenomenon. Was he merely a commentator, an observer of the fervor sparked by the manifestos? Or was he, as some suspect, the very architect of the Rosicrucian narrative, the weaver of the asterisk chimical wedding? Born in Herrenberg, Württemberg, Andri's early life was steeped in the intellectual currents of the time. The University of Tübingen, a hotbed of theological debate and nascent scientific inquiry, shaped his formative years. The seeds of his later involvement, whatever its true nature, were sown in this fertile ground. Andri's intellectual curiosity extended beyond the confines of religious dogma. He was deeply interested in mathematics, architecture, and the burgeoning scientific discoveries of his age, interests that would later find expression in his writings and potentially in the Rosicrucian manifestos. The chimical wedding of Christian Rosenkreuz Anno 1459 asterisk, a strange and allegorical tale, stands as a testament to the fusion of spiritual and scientific aspirations that characterized the Rosicrucian movement. Could Andri, with his diverse intellectual pursuits, have been its author? The chimical wedding is a symbolic journey of initiation, an alchemical process enacted on a grand scale. It speaks of a quest for wisdom, a purification of the soul, and the attainment of spiritual perfection. Its language is dense, its imagery fantastical, its meaning elusive. Some scholars point to Andry's later writings, in which he seemingly distances himself from the Rosicrucian phenomenon, as evidence against his authorship. He described the Rosicrucian fervor as a ludibrium, a playful game or jest that had spiraled out of control. Tobias Hess, a figure associated with the Tübingen Circle, was also proposed as an author, or a key influence of Andry. The academic and esoteric circles that were active at this time make it impossible to rule out interactions. Simon Studian, a physician and scholar with strong ties to esoteric circles, was associated with the movement. These men were intellectual peers who shared an interest in mystical and philosophical ideas. However, Andry's later pronouncements should not be taken at face value. He was a complex figure, a man of deep religious conviction who may have felt compelled to downplay his earlier involvement in the Rosicrucian movement due to the controversies it engendered. It is possible that Andry, driven by a desire to reform society and promote Christian ideals, initially saw the Rosicrucian manifestos as a means to an end, a way to spark intellectual and spiritual renewal. But as the movement gained momentum and attracted unwanted attention, he may have felt the need to distance himself from it. Whether Andry was the sole author, a key collaborator, or simply an observer, his connection to the Rosicrucian manifestos remains a subject of debate. The evidence is circumstantial, the interpretations varied, the truth elusive. Regardless of his precise role, Johannes Valentinus Andry stands as a pivotal figure in the Rosicrucian story. He was a man of his time, caught in the currents of intellectual and spiritual ferment, and his legacy, like the Rosicrucian phenomenon itself, continues to intrigue and inspire to this day. Tobias Hess, a name less prominent than Andry but no less vital to the Rosicrucian narrative, found himself at the heart of a burgeoning intellectual community in Tübingen. His sharp mind and dedication to both philosophical inquiry and alchemical experimentation fostered an environment ripe for the seeds of Rosicrucian thought. Andry, though geographically mobile, maintained close ties with the Tübingen Circle. The exchange of ideas, the debates on theological and scientific matters, were all fertile ground for the development of the Rosicrucian manifesto's core themes. The Tübingen Circle was not a formal organization, but rather a loose association of like-minded individuals. Philosophers, theologians, physicians, and alchemists, all drawn together by a shared thirst for knowledge and a willingness to challenge established norms. Correspondence between Andry and members of the Tübingen Circle reveals a shared interest in the reform of society through the application of esoteric knowledge. Their letters hint at a desire to create a more just and enlightened world, guided by principles of Christian piety and scientific understanding. Hess, in particular, was deeply immersed in the study of alchemy. He saw in it not merely a means of transmuting base metals into gold, but a path to spiritual transformation. This alchemical worldview, shared by others in the circle, would become a central tenet of the Rosicrucian philosophy. Andry's role as a Lutheran theologian provided a unique perspective. He sought to reconcile the burgeoning scientific discoveries of the era with traditional Christian beliefs. This synthesis of faith and reason is evident in the Rosicrucian manifesto's emphasis on both spiritual enlightenment and practical knowledge. While not directly a member of the inner circle, figures like Simon Studian, with his encyclopedic knowledge and connections to various intellectual networks, likely played a role in disseminating and shaping the Rosicrucian ideas. His presence suggests a wider network of influence extending beyond Tübingen. It is difficult to pinpoint the precise contributions of each individual within the Tübingen circle to the Rosicrucian manifestos. However, the intellectual climate they fostered, the shared interests in alchemy, Hermeticism, and social reform, undeniably shaped the content and tone of these enigmatic texts. The chemical wedding of Christian Rosicrucians *, often attributed to Andrew, reflects the alchemical symbolism and spiritual aspirations that permeated the Tübingen circle. The allegorical journey of Christian Rosicrucians can be seen as a metaphor for the individual's quest for enlightenment and the transformation of society. Studian's background as a physician with an interest in astrology and cosmology provided another lens through which to interpret the Rosicrucian ideals. His understanding of the interconnectedness of the microcosm and macrocosm resonated with the Hermetic principles underlying the movement. The legacy of Tobias Hess and the Tübingen Circle lies not only in their potential contributions to the Rosicrucian manifestos, but also in their embodiment of the spirit of intellectual inquiry and social reform that characterized the early Rosicrucian movement. They represent a vital link between the esoteric traditions of the past and the utopian aspirations of the future. The seeds of influence planted in Tübingen would soon blossom across Europe, shaping the intellectual landscape and inspiring generations to seek knowledge, enlightenment, and a better world. The Rosicrucian vision, born from the shared aspirations of individuals like Andrew and Hess, was poised to leave an indelible mark on history. Simon Studian, a man steeped in the esoteric traditions of his time, dedicated his life to unraveling the mysteries hidden within the sacred texts. Born in 1543, his intellectual journey led him down paths less traveled, seeking to reconcile faith with the hidden wisdom of the ancients. He practiced medicine, but his true passion lay in unlocking the secrets encoded within the architecture of Solomon's temple. His magnum opus, Neometria, became the vessel through which Studian communicated his unique brand of Christian Kabbalah. The dimensions of Solomon's temple, he believed, were not merely architectural specifications, but a coded message from God, revealing the past, present, and future of humanity. Each measurement, each angle, held profound symbolic significance. Studian's Neometria was more than just a work of esoteric scholarship. It was a prophetic guide, attempting to decipher the divine plan. He saw within the temple's measurements a blueprint for understanding historical events, from the rise and fall of empires to the coming of the Antichrist and the eventual triumph of Christianity. His work resonated with those seeking a deeper understanding of the world, those who believed that history was not a random sequence of events, but a divinely orchestrated drama. Though Neometria was never widely published during his lifetime, it circulated amongst a select group of like-minded scholars and mystics. The connection between Studian and the Rosicrucian manifestos remains a subject of scholarly debate. While he predated the publication of the Fama and Confessio *, his ideas, particularly his emphasis on hidden knowledge and symbolic interpretation, were certainly in alignment with the Rosicrucian spirit. It's plausible that figures like Johannes Valentinus Andrew and Tobias Hess, deeply involved in the intellectual currents of the time, were familiar with Studian's work, either directly or through the network of scholars who shared and discussed such esoteric ideas. Studian's influence, however indirect, points to the underlying currents of thought that gave rise to the Rosicrucian phenomenon. His dedication to uncovering hidden meanings within scripture and architecture reflected a broader desire to penetrate the veil of the mundane and access a higher realm of understanding. The Rosicrucian manifestos shared this same ambition. The call for a universal reformation, the emphasis on spiritual and intellectual renewal, and the promise of hidden knowledge all echoed Studian's quest for divine understanding within the dimensions of Solomon's temple. While there is no concrete evidence that Studian directly influenced the Rosicrucian manifestos, his work exemplifies the kind of esoteric and prophetic thinking that permeated intellectual circles during the late Renaissance. His Geometria Asterisk, with its intricate calculations and prophetic interpretations, stands as a testament to the enduring human desire to unlock the secrets of the universe and to find meaning within the chaos of existence. Studian's work, like the Rosicrucian manifestos, represents a bridge between the medieval world of esoteric tradition and the emerging world of Renaissance humanism and scientific inquiry. Both sought to reconcile faith and reason, to find a deeper understanding of God's creation through both spiritual insight and intellectual investigation. Simon Studian's Geometria, therefore, serves as a powerful reminder of the diverse and interconnected intellectual currents that swirled beneath the surface of European society, ultimately contributing to the emergence of the Rosicrucian phenomenon and its enduring legacy. The Fama Fraternitatis had been unleashed upon Europe, and like a wildfire, its ideas began to spread. From the learned circles of universities to the hushed gatherings of alchemists, the Rosicrucian call for a universal reformation resonated with a society yearning for change. Tobias Hess, ever the pragmatist, observed the burgeoning Rosicrucian craze with a mixture of curiosity and skepticism. He saw the potential for good, for the advancement of knowledge and the betterment of society, but he also recognized the dangers of misinterpretation and the allure of charlatanism. Prague, under the reign of the alchemically inclined Emperor Rudolf II, became a hotbed of Rosicrucian speculation. The city's already vibrant esoteric scene was further fueled by the manifestos, with alchemists, mystics, and charlatans alike claiming association with the elusive brotherhood. Across the English Channel, the Rosicrucian manifestos found fertile ground in the minds of intellectuals and occultists. Groups formed in secret, dedicated to deciphering the cryptic messages and unlocking the secrets of the Rosy Cross. Some saw it as a path to spiritual enlightenment, others as a key to unlocking the mysteries of nature. As the Rosicrucian fervor intensified, Andrew found himself increasingly burdened by the unintended consequences of his work. Letters poured in from all corners of Europe, some filled with genuine inquiry, others with wild speculation and outlandish claims. The line between philosophical idealism and delusional fantasy was becoming increasingly blurred. Simon Studian, ever the dedicated scholar, approached the Rosicrucian enigma with a scholarly zeal. He saw in the manifestos echoes of ancient wisdom, a synthesis of Hermeticism, Kabbalah, and alchemy that held the key to unlocking the secrets of the universe. He believed the Rosicrucians were the true inheritors of a long-lost tradition. The Rosicrucian movement was not without its detractors. Religious authorities, wary of any challenge to their authority, condemned the manifestos as heretical and dangerous. They saw the Rosicrucian call for reformation as a thinly veiled attempt to undermine the established order. Within the intellectual community, the Rosicrucian manifestos sparked intense debate. Some embraced the Rosicrucian ideals as a path towards a new era of scientific and spiritual enlightenment. Others dismissed them as fanciful delusions, products of overactive imaginations. The printing press played a crucial role in the spread of Rosicrucian ideas. Pamphlets, books, and broadsides flooded the market, disseminating the manifestos and related texts to a wider audience than ever before. Andrew, witnessing the frenzy surrounding the Rosicrucian name, began to question the wisdom of his youthful idealism. He saw how easily the noble aspirations of the Fama could be twisted and corrupted by those seeking personal gain or notoriety. Beyond the printed word, personal correspondence played a vital role in the dissemination of Rosicrucian ideas. Scholars, alchemists, and mystics exchanged letters, sharing interpretations, debating theories, and seeking to connect with like-minded individuals. Despite the controversies and misinterpretations, the Rosicrucian movement had taken root. Its call for a universal reformation, its emphasis on knowledge, and its promise of spiritual enlightenment resonated with a generation seeking meaning and purpose in a world on the cusp of profound change. The legacy of the Rosy Cross, for better or worse, was now firmly etched in the annals of history. The Rosicrucian manifestos, with their bold claims and esoteric pronouncements, were never destined for universal acceptance. As the asterisk Fama and Confessio circulated, they ignited not only enthusiasm but also fierce opposition. Skepticism arose from various quarters. Some dismissed the Rosicrucian Brotherhood as a mere fabrication, a hoax designed to deceive the gullible. Others saw a more sinister agenda at play. Within the universities, the manifestos became a subject of intense debate. Some professors, wary of challenging established dogma, denounced the Rosicrucians as dangerous radicals undermining the foundations of academic authority. From the pulpits, the Rosicrucians were accused of heresy. Their emphasis on esoteric knowledge and spiritual transformation was seen as a threat to orthodox religious teachings. Pamphlets and treatises emerged, dissecting the Fama and Confessio asterisk, point by point, exposing what the authors believed to be inconsistencies, logical fallacies, and outright lies. The debate often centered on the Rosicrucians' claims of possessing secret knowledge and advanced scientific capabilities. Critics questioned the lack of concrete evidence to support these assertions. Some saw the Rosicrucian movement as a potential threat to the existing political order. The call for social reform and the emphasis on individual enlightenment were viewed with suspicion by those in power. Rumors of secret societies and hidden agendas fueled anxieties among political leaders, who feared that the Rosicrucians might be plotting to overthrow established governments. The Rosicrucian sympathizers responded to the criticism, attempting to clarify their intentions and defend their ideals. However, the damage was done. The controversy surrounding the manifestos had taken hold. In some regions, public proclamations were issued against the Rosicrucians, warning citizens against associating with them or spreading their ideas. The wave of skepticism and criticism forced many Rosicrucian enthusiasts to retreat into the shadows, continuing their pursuits in secret. The early Rosicrucian movement, though facing considerable opposition, had succeeded in sparking a profound intellectual and spiritual ferment that would continue to resonate for centuries to come. The seeds of a new vision had been sown, despite the storm of criticism. The Rosicrucian manifestos, once whispered secrets, had become a resonating echo across Europe. The question now was, What lasting impact would this movement have on the world? What seeds had been sown, and what fruits would they bear? In academic circles, the Rosicrucian ideas sparked a renewed interest in Hermeticism and alchemy. Scholars, ever hungry for knowledge, delved deeper into these ancient traditions, seeking a synthesis between science and spirituality. The pursuit of the philosopher's stone continued to captivate alchemists. The Rosicrucian manifestos, with their promise of hidden knowledge, breathed new life into this ancient quest, fueling both experimentation and mystical contemplation. The Rosicrucian ideals found resonance within certain religious circles, particularly among those seeking a more personal and mystical connection with the divine. The emphasis on individual spiritual development resonated with those yearning for a deeper understanding of faith. Yet the Rosicrucian influence was not without its critics. Skeptics questioned the movement's claims, challenging its proponents to provide tangible evidence of their purported wisdom and powers. The integration of alchemical knowledge with medical practices had a tangible impact on the development of medicine, even if many of the underlying theories were later disproven. The search for universal remedies continued, driving innovation in the field. The Rosicrucian fascination with symbolism and hidden meanings spurred a deeper exploration of numerology, sacred geometry, and other esoteric disciplines. These pursuits, though often shrouded in mystery, contributed to the broader intellectual landscape of the era. The Rosicrucian emphasis on observation and experimentation, while rooted in alchemical traditions, indirectly contributed to the development of the scientific method. A spirit of inquiry and a willingness to challenge conventional wisdom became hallmarks of the burgeoning scientific revolution. Even as the fervor surrounding the Rosicrucian manifestos began to wane, their influence persisted in various esoteric societies and mystery schools. The transmission of knowledge, often through secret channels, ensured the continuation of these traditions. The myth of the Rosicrucians, like all enduring myths, continued to evolve, capturing the imagination of artists, writers, and thinkers across generations. The promise of hidden knowledge and spiritual enlightenment remained a powerful lure. The echoes of Rosicrucianism can be found in the development of modern science, occultism, and various philosophical movements. The search for universal truths and the yearning for spiritual understanding continue to motivate humanity to this day. The scientific revolution began to champion new methods. And so, the story of the alchemists of shadows comes to a close. The Rosicrucian movement, a confluence of intellectual ferment, esoteric traditions, and societal upheaval, left an indelible mark on the landscape of Western thought. Its legacy, though complex and often misunderstood, continues to resonate in our world.